Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday. Please come in, say hello. I'm getting ready this morning. I feel like there's so much light in the sewing room this morning because my husband just took the air conditioners out. So it is a change of seasons, everybody. So I'm really excited to share this blind date sewing kit with you all. If you are not familiar with my channel, my name is Genevieve. This is Thunderbird Handcrafted with Genevieve. And I try to do Sunday live sews. And I just realized I don't have my Do Not Disturb on. So just bear with me for one moment till I do that. Okay. All right. So got that taken care of so we don't get any calls or any interruptions. Good morning, Janetta. Good morning, Tanya. I am so excited to sew this today. So our blind date sewing kits, we started doing these, was it the beginning of the summer or middle of the summer? I can't. This year, I feel like, does anybody else feel like 2026, 2025, 2025, that's probably why I feel like it's going fast, because I'm already thinking about things in 2026 and 2027. I know I'm insane. But our blind date sewing kits is something that I guess it was the spring. We released it then that we would sew it in the middle of the summer. But, and the Lynn's Handmade Retreat was just this weekend, the fall one. So I was lucky enough to go to the Lynn's Handmade Retreat in April this year, which was amazing. I highly recommend if you get the chance to go to Lynn's Handmade Retreat in Wisconsin. It's so worth it. It's so unique. I definitely recommend going. I was sad that I could not participate in this fall, and I probably won't get to go in April because I have other plans for that time of year. But in the Wisconsin airport, no, Milwaukee airport, in the Milwaukee airport, they have a bookstore, one of the oldest bookstores in an airport, and it's so cool. They have vintage books, they have new books, but they had these blind date book kits there, and I was like, ooh, this is a really cool idea. How about we do blind date sewing kits with our book lover panels, and we create a theme, and we create a little story around it. And I know it says blind date, but I let you know what's in it because I don't know about you guys. I like a good mystery, but if I'm spending a decent chunk of money on fabric, I want to know what's inside of it. Even if I don't do what the recommended pattern is, it allows me to think about what else could I do with it. So we created these blind date sewing kits that have a little bit of everything you would look for from Thunderbird Handcrafted with a bookish sewing theme. I don't know. I think they're fun. What do you guys think? Good morning, Lisa. Good morning, Christy. So this one is our Down to Earth blind date sewing kit. And what I wanted to go with this is because I was planning this, it was still summer when I was planning it, but I knew it wasn't going to be coming out until fall. And I wanted something that kind of gave that little bit of transition of summer to fall, but also kind of had like an earthy fall vibe to it. And I know so many of you love your skeletons and fairies and mushrooms and things like that. So this is what we decided on, which is our Down to Earth blind date sewing kit. So the first thing you're going to see in the blind date sewing kits, we usually have a few that don't have all of the hardware, but we try to create it that whatever recommended patterns we're telling you are the recommended patterns, that you get everything you need for those, along with one of our little charms. So this blind date sewing kit, the charm actually has 2 mushrooms, it has a little moth skelly, it has a daisy charm, and then also has a like a crystal charm that glows in the dark. So this one got really, really cool. I really love it. And it's cool that the crystal charm glows in the dark. I felt like we all love a good glow in the dark charm. So that's the charm that comes with it. I think we have one left that doesn't have a charm, 1 or 2. We have less than 10 of these still available when I'm recording this tutorial. Again, these sew-alongs are live forever. I mean, not live, replay. They're on my YouTube forever. I don't know what I'm trying to tell you. You can catch this over and over again. So if you don't sew it with us today, it's okay. This will be here for you. But on the back, I put a little sticker with what is inside. And what is inside this one, and it has a little story. So this story, this blind date sewing kit, is in a moonlit grove, a tiny skeleton fairy named Maribel tended her garden of ghostly blooms. Bone-thin fingers coaxed silver vines to curl and pale petals to glow in the dark. Though no heartbeat in her ribcage, every flower swayed as if it felt her love. Among them stood her prized glass terrarium, where mushrooms whispered secrets and autumn leaves forever danced. Proof that even in death, her garden would never stop growing. So that's a little story. And then inside the kit comes a half-yard sailcloth down-to-earth book lover panel, a fat quarter of dyed rainbow cotton canvas, a fat quarter of my rainbow feathers in Kona, your zipper pulls, your zipper tape, your swivel hooks, your slide, key fob, rectangle rings. There's 2 woven labels that we created just for this kit. And then there's a 56-inch piece of webbing as well as a 12-inch piece, because the 2 recommended patterns, and this was the first time we were doing 2 patterns, because Cocotte Co Creations is the pattern designer. The Marie A. Crossbody is one that you have to purchase, but the Cynthia pouch, we're going to be doing 2 today. The Cynthia pouch is free. So I have those links in the details of this video. If you don't have the blind date sewing kit, you just want to purchase those patterns or get those patterns to make, because it is a super cute little bag. Also in here, we give you some stickies. This one had a bookmarker. I tried to do a bookmarker in all of them, but this one had a bookmarker that I thought was so cool. So this is like a sticker. You can peel this off and then you could press flowers in here, which I thought was really neat. I always give a little reading list chart that goes in there as well for you guys. So, and then we wrap it up super pretty. So when it gets to you, it's kind of like a gift. So this is also something you could give as a gift to a sewing friend or in your quilt guild or your sewing guild if you exchange things. And then the video is here for them to watch as well. So again, right now we have less than 10 of these left. So if you want to grab one, if you don't have one, go grab it. I have the link in the details for you. And if you do have it and you're here to sew with me, let me know in the comments that you have it and you're ready to make this together today. I'm really, really excited to share it with you. Okay, so there's the blind date sewing kit. I did make one other pattern, which we had a horrible time the last time we tried to do a sew along live. Let's hope that the cameras stick with us this time. But I also made the Christy Stitches by Christy Luna mini backpack with this blind date sewing kit. So this is that bag. I did record 2 videos. Go and watch them at your own risk because we really need to do another set of videos for those. All right. So the patterns, so that you can see what they turn out to be if you use the full kit. And we're going to do them a little different today. Like I picked a different styling with the fabrics than what I did for my original ones. So you can kind of see, you don't have to do exactly what I do. You can play around with it. There's a lot of people who get the blind date sewing kit and do something completely different with it. So this is the Marie A. Crossbody. So you can see how cute is this little cutie patootie bag. There are 2 sizes in the pattern. There's a larger size, which I should have brought it up here. I did a larger size in some of our framed monsters and our thin wheel corduroy printed, and it turned out really, really cute. That's actually my current bag I'm carrying right now. But this is the mini version, which I thought was super cute for us to do today. And I have our little charm on the side here, but it has this cute little slip pocket, which is like really perfect for your phone in the front, little zipper pocket. And then in the inside, there is some slip pockets to put things as well. But it's just a cute, fun pull together. I put the panel on the back of this one, which I thought was fun. And then, like I said, you do get all of the webbing, you get all of the hardware, everything comes in the kit to do this. I feel like this is it is a bag that I feel like if you were going to fall markets, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I don't like to carry a whole bunch of things when I'm out at like markets, like creative markets and stuff. So this would be really great to just put my phone, my wallet. It's not super bulky, you know what I mean? So I feel like this is a really great bag for that. It's also, I think, a really great gifting bag for a kid. It's like perfect size for like, you know, a tween who's just starting to carry stuff. So this is the Marie A crossbody. And like I said, the pattern, you get it in 2 sizes. And then this is the Cynthia pouch. So the Cynthia pouch is literally what it is. It's just a wristlet pouch. Well, I don't even know. I think it's just a pouch. I turned it into a wristlet because I thought, why not? It's a decent size for a wristlet. So this is the Cynthia pouch. It doesn't have any pockets or anything. It's just a simple pouch, but it was free. And I thought there's plenty of fabric in the Blind Date Sewing Kit for you to make multiple things. And I really wanted to showcase that. Like, and I felt like this was a great way since it was a free pattern. So I highly recommend going in, even if you don't have the Blind Date Sewing Kit, going and grabbing these patterns. Both of them I felt were really nice, especially at this time of year where you're looking for patterns that are easy to pull together to gift to somebody. So those are the 2 patterns we're doing today, and we're sewing them, y'all. We're not sewing them on Gertie, my industrial machine, my fabricator. We're actually sewing today on my domestic machine, which is my Bernina 475 QE. So fingers crossed, because you all know it's not the one I sew on all the time. So these are the 2 patterns. Little Shindig, she's the one who told me all about doing this. I have a very small sewing area. If you're new here, this is an old farmhouse. This was a bedroom at one point. It's basically the size of some people's closets nowadays. And so it's a very small sewing room. So it's hard for me to know good ways of organizing, and this really for my patterns is the best way. It's a binding machine that you just get off of Amazon. You get the covers. I use just like a regular what do you call these, pocket sleeve type of thing, and put my patterns in there after I cut them, and then it keeps them all together. For my apparel patterns, I bought different color binding coils, and then that's the way I organize my like shirts, dresses, hoodies, that sort of thing, to keep it organized. So these are the patterns. The links are in the details for you to grab the patterns. The thing that I am doing today, for those of you who are watching, I also shared this with my Patreon. Anyone who buys any of our Blind Date Sewing Kits today, along with, we also have a kit over on our website, and all of this is on the homepage of my website right now. This is a Diane crossbody kit where you then get to pick one of our book lover panels. Okay, so everything is already pre-cut out. You also get the Diane crossbody pattern from Knotted Thread Co. Not Knotted Thread Co. Oh my goodness. Evergreen Threads. Evergreen Threads. Amberly, I'm sorry about that. But this is all pre-cut out cork. It's all neutral. All of the hardware is, I believe, gunmetal hardware, neutral webbing, neutral cork. You have to add your book lover panel to the cart so that you get that for free, okay? So that you can go and make a Diane crossbody using one of our book lover panels. We have limited ones of these available. It's a great deal. Any of the Blind Date Sewing Kits, as well as this, if you add those to your cart, you can add 2 charmed TBH items. So that's all of our different charms that we have available for retail. You can add 2 of those for free until next week, and until next Saturday, 10/18. So some good deals today if you're watching this or you're watching it on the replay during the week that this video is released. I'm going to try to start doing more of that for those of you who come here live for me. I really appreciate you. So if there's a way that I can kind of support you and give you some good deals, I'd like to do it. So, so that is also under this deal where you can get 2 charms for free. And charms are always great to add to a bag or add to a gift when you're wrapping it. So take advantage of that. All right. Have the kit, but just watching cleaning up breakfast. Christy, that's okay. What did you have for breakfast? I really didn't have a breakfast, so I'm a little nervous. I'm going to be getting the munchies in a little bit. We also have extra of these woven labels over in our tag area. So if you want just the woven labels, we do have extras of those too. Let me see, is there anything else before I show you how I'm doing mine today? The last thing is we are working on another blind date sewing kit, and the next blind date sewing kit is not a bag. It is something I really feel you're not going to want to miss, even if you're not quilty. It can be made quilty. It doesn't have to be made quilty, and I can't wait to show it to you, but I can give you a hint. I can share with you the charm that comes with the next blind date sewing kit, all right? And for those of you who know me, know that I'm a little goose crazy lately. So there you go. That's your hint. I'm hoping to release it on the 1st of November for you all, so you guys can see it. All right. So that's that. Let's talk about what I'm using. So I am using the blind date sewing kit. The only things I'm not using from the blind date sewing kit, because I didn't have any extra for myself. I didn't have enough of webbing to do the crossbody strap. I had enough for the wristlet, but not enough for my own crossbody. So I am using one of these chains. I saw Indo Love Creation as I am speaking. I should have checked this, but I think Indo Love Creation has 50% off the chains, bag chains. So that's what I'm using, is a bag chain for the crossbody today, because I didn't have any more of the webbing left for myself. I'm using all of the hardware that's in there, but I am not using, I also didn't have the zipper tape. So, I'm using just a gunmetal green zipper tape. Okay. So let me show you the Cynthia pouch first, and I can kind of show you what I'm using for it. It's literally hardly any pieces. So I'm using the panel on the Cynthia pouch this time, not the crossbody. And what I did with some of the leftover rainbow fat quarter that was in here, it's rainbow, hand-dyed rainbow canvas, is I took just images off of Canva, printed it out, stitched over them, and then cut it out and did a reverse applique, which I thought was super fun. So the sailcloth canvas that we use for our book lover panels is really great and durable for that. So all I did was I have a reel over on my Instagram kind of showing some of the steps of doing it. But this is on the back. So, dropping things. This is one side. This is the other side. And then my interior is going to be the print. So that is the Cynthia pouch. And then for the Marie A crossbody, let me just grab it here. I decided I wanted to do more of the rainbow canvas fat quarter on this one. So let me just remember how I had it. I believe, yeah. All right. So this is going to be my exterior because the rainbow is on a spiral. Your fat quarter is on a spiral. So I figured I would do this, and then I have the tag. You also get one of the Wild and Free tags. So I'm going to put that there. This is going to be the zipper pouch front. And then the back is going to be the dyed canvas. The interior is also going to be dyed canvas, and then the slip pocket is going to be the print. So that is what we're using for the Marie crossbody. I think it's going to look really cute. So like I said, you can play with the blind date sewing kits on how you want them to be. All right. I'm going to share with you guys which direction you want me to be. I have 2 camera setups. So this is number 1. So that's like kind of like a close-up to the one direction of where I'm sewing. And then this is over my shoulder. And so you can see like kind of where I am versus where this is. Which do we want? Do we want view 1 or view 2? Hi, Sarah. Happy Sunday. 1 or 2. I feel like we're at the eye doctors. Let me know which. I'm going to thread my machine a while. The thread I am using is from Emporium, and it is the We Like to Party, and it's Tex 45. I do have in my bobbin a Gooder thread because you know, domestic machines usually don't like more than that. And I found that Jasmine here, which is the name of this machine, she'd rather have the Gutermann in the bobbin. We want 1. We want 1. All right, we'll do 1. Sounds good. Tanya, thanks for your vote. If you guys want me to switch back and forth, you just let me know. Okay? All right, let me get some clips over this direction. I know you guys, I tell you what, my internet, I think that's the problem. Am I back? Am I back? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Good morning, Gail. Oh, I hope we can get through a video. But these zipper pulls are super cool, the little skeletons. You can get them from Waywack. I think they probably still have them, but I just thought they were shaped in such a cool way. So these are in the kit. All right, so we're gonna do our zipper tabs and our zipper tape. Yesterday, we have all of fall pre-order and inventory cut, which is great. I think I need to pull my hair back, you guys. Anybody else, like, you sit down to sew and you're just like, I can't have my hair hanging on me. I'm wearing my Nomi earrings today from my bestie. I thought they were good to go with this kit. Okay. Get our zippers on here, like so. And then we have our zipper tabs. So we're just gonna sew these on. I'm gonna clip them all on here just so that they're all clipped. You know, the other thing you can use for zipper tabs, which I'm going to use for the pouch, is binded and dyed. Because binded and dyed is the exact width you need here. At least the 1 1/4 inch. And then all you need to do is cut the length that you need, and then they can be zipper tabs. So binded and dyed is also a great source for zipper tabs. Okay. And I always have to get repositioned when I sit over here to sew. Is anybody else sewing anything this morning? And we're just gonna sew across, make sure my stitch length is right. snips. I guess I could have just gone straight across with all of them, but I know there's some people, do some people like do the whole like switcheroo here? That's what I should have done. Okay. I'm just going to fold those in half, like so, and then top stitch this. This, I have it too. It's very speedy this morning. Again, for those of you who are just tuning in, I don't sew on this machine as often as my industrial, so we're gonna have some moments today. But I'm determined. This bag is perfect for domestic machines, I feel. There's one. Working on a few bags, my own design. Ooh, Tanya, that's cool. Working on the Sierra Weekender. I don't know if I know that one. Yep, some zippy PJs. Ooh, fun. Fun stuff. I'm so excited. I don't know if anybody has seen. We are going to be, we have these sweater weather sewing kits that we're doing. We cut a bunch of new ones. Oh, if you guys want to sew apparel, I'm telling you, we're going to have such a fun time. Because that's also probably why the next year is on my mind, because I've been planning everything for 2026. But Jordan from Everyday Lions and I, we're going to start doing, we'll probably have some guest appearances. But we're going to do every other month, we're going to sew one of our sweater weather kits. And it doesn't mean that it's all sweaters. Like we actually, there's some vests, you know, like there's some different things, but it's all like beginner sewing for the most part, learning apparel. So I'm really excited. If you are an apparel sewer, don't judge us. If you are an apparel sewer, I think it'll be a really fun way to like learn apparel sewing together. And you get the recommended pattern. And then you're also going to get like the fabric you need to cut it out and everything. So I'm pretty excited about it. I think it'll be a good time. If you've been following YouTube and you know what scheduled YouTubes are coming up, the one that I just had to reschedule is the Everything But the Machine Tote. So Debbie and Sarah from Salty Sews, that's Debbie's pattern that she, what are you doing here? That she created a while back. They teach a lot. But Debbie has some new tips, some revisions she's offering now that they've taught it for years. They want to share some of their best tips. So once that's done, and she's just about done with it, so I wanted to kind of give her some space. She is going to re-release a video, I think, too. but I want to make them with our book lover panels. So yeah. Are we making sweatshirts? We are making sweatshirts. We're making sweatshirts, some vests, some cardigans, some really good things. There'll be a page soon up on my website that will have the kits that are available, and the schedule of the sews that we're doing. All right, so we have those. Now we need to do our sides. So next we're doing our little side ring. What are we going to call these? Ring tabs. That's what we're calling them. We'll call them ring tabs. So we're doing those. Yeah, I'm very, very excited. So now this here, I'm just going to fold it in half. Fold these to meet each other. And now we're gonna top stitch these. You could use double-sided tape if you wanted to. Oh, that little skeleton is so stinking cute. And this thread from Emporium, it's a brighter fairy floss. Like it's not super rainbow brighty. Like I wouldn't say that. I feel like it's more like confetti cake almost. I really like it. We need to get in a groove here. If you hear my father-in-law, I'm sorry, he's hyped up today. We have a full house. My son is home from college for the weekend. He is working on, we'll also hopefully have those soon in the shop. The turners from Salty Sews that he 3D prints. He's working on getting a bunch of those made. And he worked on some more binding spools in the blue color. Okay, so now we have these, which I am going to just sew across like so. We could use a rivet if we wanted to. Birdies are out. It rained here pretty good yesterday and overnight last night, but we needed it. I am kind of glad that the weather is changing. It's due. One of my favorite seasons is fall, so I feel like when it was so hot in October, it was nice to dye some more. I have a bunch of stuff I need to wash out this week, but I miss the season. Sarah says she's ready for apparel sewing. I'm very excited. It's going to be a good time. All right, next, what's next? What do we got next? All right, we're not making our own strap, so she does have that in the pattern if you want to make your own strap out of cotton woven. Next we're going to grab our exterior, so we need to put our tag on here. So I'm going to find my center marks. Now I interfaced this one this time with only cotton woven interfacing. The last one I did fusible fleece. So it just depends if you want like a puffy look or a more flatter look. It's really up to you what you want to do. Okay, so find my centers. And then when you sit down at a different sewing machine, it's always fun to like refigure out where all your stuff is, right? Okay, so I think I'm going to put it I'm gonna put my tag 2 inches up. I'm just gonna mark a little mark there. And then this cotton canvas that I dyed, this is the same type of cotton canvas. If you got any of our reverse dyes that we did over the summer, we had like a Halloween reverse, and then the navy blue and the pink and the navy blue and like bright blue. It's the same type of canvas as that. So it sews really nice. It dyed really nice. There. All right, and now we're going to have the fun of sewing a tag on a machine I'm not used to sewing tags on. So we're gonna pretend that it turns out great. Slowly. Oh, maybe. Alright, that wasn't so bad. It wasn't as bad as what I thought it was going to be. Okay. And we have a new material base that we're releasing just specifically for the apparel sews, which I'm very excited. It won't be a pre-order fabric, so to say. It'll only be available when we offer it in the sweater weather kits, which is what we're calling the kits. But it's really, really fun. Okay, so there's our exterior. Now we need our one zipper, and the zippers are both the same in length, so it doesn't matter which one you get. I do put little snips in my zippers. As long as you don't go too far down, you'll be okay. Okay, so there's my zipper, and I need some double-sided tape, and zippers close this direction, right? Yep. So I'm gonna put some double-sided tape across the top of this. And that I should do the other one. Anybody getting ready for the holidays? I know a lot of people are doing market sewing. I was going to do a market this year, and then I was like, when am I going to find a time to do a market? All right. And now we're just going to take the zipper and line it up with our center notch. And we're just kind of going around that curve. I know sometimes curves frighten people, but we're just going around that curve. Like so. There we go. And now you could stitch that down at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance if you wanted to, but I am just going to take my opposite side and I'm just going to sandwich it and I'm going to stitch it down at the 1/4 inch. But I am going to change out and put my zipper foot on because on my fabricator I use my narrow foot all the time. I don't have that luxury here. So I'm just going to clip these in place and then change out my foot. I'm trying to make some items for my daughter's trunk or treat event at school, but running low on ideas and money. Oh, girl. Trunk or treats. Let me try to think back. I mean, the popcorn balls, you know, the other thing that I think about with that is my daughter is gluten intolerant. So when it came to Halloween, it was always like, what candies could I do? Taffies were always a hit if you're looking for candies. Oh, you know what all the kids love? And I mean, definitely you'd have to like figure out what you're putting inside them. But you know those little rice search and find things where you put different things and the back has a little card that says find these, find that. That would be something you could sew if you had some clear vinyl and just, you know, whatever fabrics you want to put on the back and then stuff them with the rice and the little charms. I don't know how many you need to make, but that's always a fun now, where, there it is. I was like, where did I put my feet? She's going to be a pink dinosaur, so I'm trying to think of doing something like that, but also, I don't know. I think those, you could put like little dinosaurs in them for them to find, or if you have like, if you find little eggs, like charms. All right, I need to keep you out. Where's the zipper foot? Zipper foot, zipper foot. There you are. My father-in-law's talking to the dog. Oh, Apollo is getting used to Gunther, the cat. You know, if you watch the Bob and Buddies, you saw that my daughter got it. He's up here with me. He's offering him some treats. Okay. So. So weird when you're so used to sewing with an industrial machine, like going back to a domestic machine that has all like the fancy things you can do with it. there's that. I just want to pull your zipper tape out a little bit. All right, and now we're gonna top stitch along there, I believe. If I remember correctly. Yes, you could iron this if you want. I am not ironing it. We're just gonna top stitch it. So now I'm gonna move this over here. And then my thread is caught there. There we go. Why this machine every once in a while does that. I'm sure it's something with timing, but it's only when I'm using longer stitches. Every once in a while a longer stitch will pop up. But there's what the front pocket is looking like so far. No problem, Christy. Thanks so much for coming in. Yeah, the colors got really cool. And then we have our little skelly guy on the back. All right, so there's our front pocket. So now that we have that part done, now we need the back of this pocket. So this is that. Clip my centers. You're going to hear DJ coming up. He's taking the other air conditioners out. Okay. And now what we're going to do is we're going to leave this tape here. We're going to put a piece of tape across the top of this. Because this is going to be the inside of the pocket, but yet the rest of this is going to go onto the exterior outside other piece. So let me just put this on here, like so. Okay, and then I'm going to find this piece here that's the center. Okay. And if you're using the double-sided tape, we're not going to stitch this at all. We're just going to let it stuck with the double-sided tape because we're going to stitch it onto the exterior in a moment. Okay, so you can kind of see how this is set up now. Okay, so now I need to grab my exterior piece, which is this. I'm going to find my centers on this too. Okay, and then we're going to make our marks for where this is going to lay on here, okay? So okay, so we're going to measure up on either side. Make a mark. So what I like about this bag too is it has box bottoms, which is pretty fun for a bag. All right, and now we're going to place the bottom raw edge of our lining where those marks are, okay? So we're going to take another thing of double-sided tape. I'm just using my thin stuff for this because I don't really need like anything really thick. Stay. There. Okay, and then I'm taking this piece, the lining piece, okay, and I'm going to lay that right along there. On that line. Okay, like so. You can use clips to hold it if you want to, all right? And then we're going to top stitch on the inside. So we're going to flip this around, okay? And we're going to top stitch this. So we want to make sure that all of this is turned under, and we're going to be top stitching that. So now I need to add a little bit more double-sided tape onto these sides to make sure it holds. Come on. This new double-sided tape that I got from Waywack, that is like the thinner stuff, is really strong, like, which I like, but I can't rip off every time. Okay, so now we're just gonna turn these under. And I'm going to flip this up now, and I want to make sure that I'm feeling that zipper tape, that it is folded. You might need to use your stiletto to just make sure like your corners are held in place. Or like, I'm going to put a clip here to hold that end while I get this end. All right. Okay. And we're just going to stitch right along there. You just want to make sure you're catching that zipper. Make sure I got this zipper tab. Okay. There's that. Now, there's our little pouch front happening Super cute. Good morning, Sherry. I love the colors too. It's super fun. I feel like when things start transitioning to everything is brown and, you know, there's not a whole lot of color going on out there, but there still is color. And so I feel like this kit made me like think about that. All right, next, what we're going to do is we're going to flip this, and I'm going to turn my iron on actually to do this. So you're going to fold this down 1/4 inch, these two together here. We're going to fold those down 1/4 inch. I'm going to iron that, and then that's going to get stitched across the bottom here. So let me just turn my iron on so we can make sure that that's nice and crisp. But like I said, this is just a cute little crossbody purse. I think it's perfect for the time of year. I think at markets this would sell too, because it doesn't have a whole lot of pieces to it. So batching these I think would be super easy. You know, and you could sell it for a decent amount, but not, you know, like a lot of times people go to markets with a certain amount in their head of what they're spending on each person. So I think that's also another nice thing about this pattern is you could totally make it within, you know, people's budget. Good morning, Rosa. I am making the Marie A crossbody, the mini version, from Cocotte Co Creations. And then we're also going to be making her Cynthia pouch, which is a free pattern. The links are in the details of the video for you. And the fabric that I'm using is part of our blind date sewing kit, which is something we release. We'll have another one coming soon that's a little bit more on the quilty end of things for the holidays. But you get everything in the kit to make the recommended patterns. I'm just ironing this edge under so that I can have at least a cleaner, because this part is a little difficult. I used pins, I think, the first time that I did this to pin them in place, and we're just meeting that line that we made, all right, with the lining part. So I think maybe I'm going to use pins again, because I did make it easier to just pull them out. Okay, so we are going to stitch this down with the top stitch right across. Stay on there, Jenna. And again, this machine is not the machine I normally sew on, so it's gonna have its wonky parts. There we go. All right, there's our front zipper pocket. All sewed on, looking cute. All right, so now that we have that piece done, I believe we are ready to move on to the next stage of things. All right, so we have this done. We're going to set it aside. We're going to do our interior little slip pocket. So all we're doing with this is we're just going to be folding it in half. Okay. We're going to be stitching right down the center, turning this. I'm going to change from my zipper foot. My sewing machine is a Bernina 475 QE. I usually sew my bags on my industrial machine, which is a Sailrite Fabricator. But I've made a pact with myself that I'm going to sew more on my domestic machine. This machine, my machine that I sewed on for close to 20 years was a Singer 600, 1970s. It's actually still here in the table. Oh no, I just broke a needle because I didn't switch the needle out. See, that's the thing. When you sew with an industrial that has no bells and whistles, you just get used to no bells and whistles. But I'm determined. We're gonna do this. We're gonna sew more on Jasmine because it's a really good machine. I bought this machine, gosh, was it 2022, I think 2022, because I just felt I wanted to get into more quilting. Also, my Singer, because she was getting so old, it was getting really hard to find locally anyone that would like find the parts because Singer's been sold so many times. I might be able to fix her now, but now it's just kind of like, what's the reason when I have this? Because the feed dogs of that machine were really, really worn. And it was getting hard to find the parts for her. But I probably could find her now, finding parts for her now that I know certain people that work in other areas. But I got this, and then I used her here and there. I felt like she was very fancy because I guess I just didn't realize how semi-industrial my Singer was. And in that time period, I did get my Fabricator, and I just love my Fabricator. But I do want to sew more on this machine. And this is the perfect bag. These two bags are like the perfect bags to sew on this machine. Okay, so we're going to turn this out. I think they sell, if you're wondering why she's blue, it's the Calf Facet, however you pronounce his names, but it's like the designer series that they do every once in a while. Like they had the Tulip Pink one. I really love Calf Facet's designs. I think he has such a unique eye for colors. So when I saw there was one that was like his designs. And then it has some special stitches that he designed too. All right, so I'm just ironing this, our inside slip pocket area, so that it's pressed here to look nice. And then I'm going to find, so there's that. And I'm going to find my centers on my interior. Today, when I'm done here, I'm going to go down, I'm making spaghetti squash, stuffed spaghetti squash for dinner today. So that's like another reason I love fall, is there's so many good fall food. So much good stuff. All right, we're going to, I want to make sure I know where I'm putting this. Okay, so we're going to make our marks for where we're lining up our pocket. I think I'm going to give this one to my niece. She's kind of gothy. So I think I'm going to give her this one. I'm going to put one. I don't have my own woven labels from this kit, but like I said, in the kit, we do have exclusively designed labels that come with the blind date sewing kits to go with it. And then we do have some extra packs of these in our tag area. I have my own little Thunderbird handcrafted tag woven labels. So I'm going to use one of those. And then I'm going to put some double-sided tape along the bottom of this. My hands do not have any strength today. I don't know what that is. And now we're just going to line this up right along there. And we're going to stitch straight down across here. So and I feel like this type of slip pocket, you know, it's shallow. So I'm probably going to want it to be able to hold a cell phone. So probably about there. So I think, and then this could hold like a chapstick or something for her. So I'm just going, I think I'm going to put it like right about here. I always feel like Katie said the other day, slip pockets are a choose your own adventure. It's really however you want to do it. So I'm going to just stitch up here. Okay. All right, now I'm just going to stitch these sides down so they stay in place. All right, so we have our interior. Now that we have our interior, we need to lay out our D-rings on our front. And I feel like, let me look at my first one. I think I did lay them on my front so that I could figure out where were they going to hit with the pocket. So let's lay these out and make sure that we're not like hitting anything we don't want to hit. And you could clip this down. I actually think I probably cut 2 out of these, and I think you just need 1. So I'm going to cut those down. Okay. And so we're going to measure down from the top here. And mark. You guys want me to switch camera angles? You want me to go here now? So you can kind of see what we're doing here. All right, so now where my marks are is where I should line up those. And your D-rings are going to kind of feel like they're hitting your zipper. That's okay. Okay. And we're going to stitch these puppies on. Make sure you're doing them in the right direction. I want them to be inward. Okay. Clip our threads there. Now, we're in the home stretch, you guys. Now we're going to get our other zipper, which is here. Find our centers on that. Okay. I'm going to put double-sided tape on both sides. Double-sided tape is your friends. It's not cheating. Especially when you have curves like this. The best pattern I ever did to learn how to sew curves is the Curvilicious Wallet from Spencer Ogg, however you say it. That's my favorite curve pattern. All right, so now we're gonna take this. Are we back? Let's see if we're back.